Today's video is sponsored by Bad Genetics. If you want patchy facial hair or propensity for heart disease, get Bad Genetics. Good evening and welcome to the Idiot GM, where I gamble imaginary money for pretend. Because reasons? I'm not Doris Burke, I'm just some idiot gambling on the NBA. This is the third week in a row that I've been gambling on the NBA. And this week I went 32-17, which is the third week in a row that I've lost 17 games. So let's start off with the losses, because that's what I'm most mad about. I don't even want to talk about how I lost $700 betting that the Mavs would beat the Knicks. The Knicks ended up beating them. Like, come on, Luka, what are you doing to me? I also lost $475 betting on the Lakers to beat the Raptors. Why was the spread so wide? This Raptors team is good and we've had that established. They've earned our respect. Pascal Siakam is still playing amazing, and Nick Nurse just really knows how to coach and get the most out of his players. I don't know why the line was so spread. It could have been because Serge Ibaka and Kyle Lowry are both out, and they're getting minutes from people I haven't even heard of. But they're still a good, it's not like they're the Hornets now. But regardless, Toronto was able to beat them. Now the Lakers have a very good half-court defensive team, a surprisingly good defensive team. However, where they lack is in transition, and this is where Toronto was able to get ahead. Toronto is actually the best team in transition this season with 22.7 points per game on the fast break. This was enough to get them over the Lakers and enough to burn $475 in my pocket. My next biggest loss came from Portland losing to the Warriors. What are you doing losing to the Warriors? Come on. But the Blazers have been struggling this season, and I was kind of curious as to why, so I took a deep dive into their stats. And they have a lot of things to still be excited about. They've got one of the best offenses still, led by Damian Lillard. An offense that is 9th in the league in points per game, and they're one of the best rebounding teams in the league. And with the addition of Hassan Whiteside, they're 7th in the league in blocks. However, analyzing this team statistics, I was able to find what I think are their three biggest problems. So one, struggling CJ McCollum. CJ's been having a rough year shooting-wise. However, that's going to regress to the mean. He's going to do just as good as he's always done probably, and so we're going to expect those numbers to go up. However, with this early slow start from the Blazers, this can be a big reason why. Two, this team has been plagued with injuries. Players like Rodney Hood, Skylar BCA, and they're still recovering from that Yusuf Nurkic injury. These players will all come back at some point, which will be very beneficial to them, but regardless, even with those players back, they still lack some depth, so making a move at the trade deadline will be pertinent for them. The third, final, and probably their biggest flaw is their defense. Now looking at their stats, they're 25th in steals and 28th in fouls, which I can deduct from that. They're not moving their feet and they're giving poor defensive effort. Instead of getting out in front and ahead of their man, they're just swiping at balls, hoping to get the steal, and just causing fouls. But with all these major flaws that this team has right now that's gotten them to the slow start, all their games have actually been relatively close, and they've had a very tough schedule. They've lost to a handful of very good teams, much of which are playoff teams. However, when the playoffs comes rolling around, you have to get those wins. And with the Western Conference the way that it is, every win matters. One win can be the difference between a 5 seed and being out of the playoffs. And so, you got to get these early wins against these difficult teams. And even teams that they should beat and should pound on, like the Warriors, they're losing, which will come back to bite them if they don't turn things around. Now, in addition to those 3 major losses, I lost another 14 times this week, losing me $3,303. However, much like last week, I won over 30 games this week, so let's see if I can dig myself out of that hole. I would love to talk more about my wins this week, but there was really nothing special about them. Most of my wins came from consistently picking the favorite. My first underdog win actually didn't come until Wednesday, and I won $116 with the Bulls. My biggest win this week actually came when the Jazz beat the Bucks, and I won $130 in that game. As good as the Utah Jazz defense is, Giannis has had a knack for just destroying them, and he averages career best numbers when he's playing them. And so I figured that that would probably happen. However, the Jazz last year did split their series with the Bucks, and so I figured if they were going to win one game against the Bucks this season, it would be this game. That was pretty much all my thinking behind it, and I was right. So by mostly consistently picking the favorite, I was able to win 32 times this week for a total of $3,296. So if you do the math, that puts me at $17 in the hole for the week. Now again, this week I did do the stats for just only picking the favorite and only picking the underdog. If you only picked the underdog, you would have won 15 games and lost 34 games, bringing you to negative $698. And if you picked the favorite, you would have gone 34 and 15. But still would have lost $14. So far this season, I've gone 88 and 51, and my total earnings have been at $752. Not as I want it to be, but again, I'm more interested in my win total versus how much money I won. So overall, with the favorite and with the underdog, the favorite actually has the same record as I do at 87 and 51. However, they are in the hole $1,157. And the underdog is the inverse of that, so 51 and 87. And they've somehow managed to lose $642. So I'm doing better, barely better than the favorite in terms of wins, but a lot better than both the underdog and the favorite in terms of money. What does this all mean? I don't know. To me, it's just further evidence that I'm an idiot, but I'll continue to keep doing this. So please tune in next week, watch all my old videos, like and subscribe. Thank y'all so much. I'm the Idiot GM, and I'll see you next week.